Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, we're diving deep into a story that proves sometimes the most painful truths are delivered not in anger, but with a calculated, ice-cold precision. This is the story of Sarah and Mark, a couple who, from the outside, seemed to have it all. A beautiful home, stable careers, and a marriage that looked like it was pulled straight from a magazine. But behind closed doors, a slow, toxic erosion had begun, fueled by silent judgments and the kind of careless remarks that chip away at your soul. Sarah was about to celebrate her 35th birthday, and Mark was about to give her the gift that would finally shatter the illusion they had both been living.
You see, Mark had always been a man obsessed with appearances, his own, his home's, and recently, Sarah's. In the last year, Sarah had thrown herself into a demanding new job role. The stress was immense, and like many of us do when life gets overwhelming, she found comfort in food and less time for the gym. She gained maybe 15 pounds. Nothing drastic, but enough for her to notice, and certainly enough for Mark to start making his presence known through a series of increasingly subtle, yet cruel, suggestions. It started innocently enough. "Are you going to eat that bread, honey? Don't want to spoil your appetite for dinner." Or, "Wow, you look really comfortable in that sweatshirt. You know, we should really dust off that treadmill downstairs." Sarah would laugh it off, or maybe shoot him a quick, annoyed glance, but every comment was a tiny paper cut. Each one whispering the same message: you are not good enough anymore. She cherished her birthday, seeing it as one day where the focus was entirely on her, on celebrating who she was, flaws and all. She hoped Mark would see it the same way. She hoped for a gift that reflected love, appreciation, and acceptance. The evening arrived. Mark had planned an intimate dinner at home, her favorite pasta, expensive wine. Everything was perfect, almost too perfect. After the cake, he brought out a small, heavy box, wrapped in shimmering gold paper. Sarah's heart fluttered. Could it be the necklace she'd pointed out months ago? Something thoughtful, something permanent. She tore the paper away, and underneath, there was a sleek, minimalist package for a premium fitness service. It was called Shred It Fitness, and taped to the front was a handwritten note from Mark: "Happy birthday. Time for the new you. Love, Mark." It wasn't just a membership, it was the most expensive, top-tier subscription, guaranteeing monthly one-on-one virtual coaching. The smile Sarah had perfected for the evening froze on her face. For a few agonizing seconds, she couldn't speak. All the paper cuts Mark had inflicted over the last year combined into one deep, agonizing stab. This wasn't a gift of love, it was a rejection slip for the woman he had married. It confirmed everything she had feared: he didn't see her as perfect, lovable, or worth celebrating as she was right now. He saw a project. Mark, oblivious, was beaming with self-satisfaction. "Isn't it great? I know how much you've been wanting to get back into shape, and this one is the best. No excuses now, right?" he said, leaning in to kiss her. Sarah gently pushed him back. She looked at the box, then at him. The coldness in her eyes was like a winter snap in July. She didn't yell. She didn't throw the box across the room. She simply reached out and took his hand, her voice startlingly calm. "Mark, thank you. This is certainly motivational." She placed the box back on the counter. "Now, I think I'll go clear the dishes. But please, don't worry about doing anything else. You've given me a wonderful idea for your birthday gift, which is coming up next month." That night, Sarah didn't sleep. The rage was still there, but it had solidified into a chilling determination. She realized Mark had challenged her commitment, her effort, and her worth based on a superficial metric: her weight. Well, she decided, two can play that game. If he was going to hold her accountable for her body, she was going to hold him accountable for his life. His real life. She decided to give him a reality check so he wouldn't be able to shrug off with a quick jog or a salad. The next morning, Sarah went to work, but not her office job. She dove into their shared computer files, her personal notes, and old emails. She was creating a document, a masterpiece of commitment and documentation, which she titled, simply, The Ledger. This wasn't a document about money alone. It was an itemized list of Mark's subscriptions, the commitments he had signed up for but failed to renew or maintain. She started with the house projects. The basement renovation he promised for 4 summers ago, status, 0% completion. Investment, $5,000 in unused materials. The yard drainage system he swore he'd install after the last flood, status, 0% completion. Consequence, $3,200 insurance deductible paid. The joint financial planning binder he'd set up to manage their investments, status, opened once, now covered in dust in the filing cabinet. Then, she moved to the relational maintenance. The monthly date nights he let lapse 6 months ago, status, 0% consistency. The couple's therapy session he scheduled and then cancelled, stating, "We don't need it, we just need to relax," status, cancelled. Emotional cost, unresolved resentment. The promise to communicate about major decisions without shutting down, status, broken last Tuesday during the argument about the broken washing machine. She spent 2 entire evenings on it, cross-referencing emails and receipts. She wasn't seeking revenge, she was seeking accountability. She formatted it professionally, complete with a clean title page and an appendix of photographic evidence, a photo of the mildewed basement, a photo of the dusty financial binder. It looked like a quarterly report for a failing business. She printed it out, slipped it into a high-quality leather folder, and waited for her opportunity. Mark's birthday arrived 3 weeks later. Sarah pulled out all the stops, his favorite Italian restaurant, a pricey bottle of wine. Mark was in great spirits, expecting a typical, lavish gift, maybe a new driver for golf, or tickets to see his team play. When the waiter cleared their plates, Sarah slid the leather folder across the table to him. It looked expensive, official, and important. "Happy birthday, Mark," she said, her voice smooth and devoid of any emotion. "This is your gift." The reality check. He smiled, a little confused, and opened the folder. His face was a study in slow-motion confusion as his eyes scanned the title page, Commitment Audit and Relationship Balance Sheet, Q for FY24. What is this, Sarah?" He chuckled nervously, flipping to the first page detailing the basement and the yard. "It's accountability, Mark," she replied, calmly sipping her wine. "You see, you gave me a fitness subscription for my birthday. A subscription based on the idea that I wasn't putting in enough effort to look the way you wanted me to look. You held me accountable for my physique." Mark's smile was gone now. He was staring at the section on relational maintenance, the list of cancelled dates and deferred conversations. He finally looked up at her, the color draining from his face. "Sarah, this is harsh. You're trying to hurt me," he whispered, embarrassed by the public setting. "Did you think that fitness subscription didn't hurt me, Mark?" she countered, keeping her voice low but piercing. "You made me feel like damaged goods. You judged my effort in the one area I felt vulnerable. This ledger simply judges your effort, Mark. Your effort in maintaining the partnership you subscribed to when you married me. It shows a significant deficit in your commitment portfolio." She leaned closer. "You wanted me to shred it, Mark. I'm shredding the excuses. Look at the balance sheet. I've put in all the emotional capital, and you've been spending it recklessly on projects you never start and problems you never fix. The problem isn't my waistline, it's your follow-through." The silence that followed wasn't angry, it was heavy with truth. Mark stared at the ledger, realizing that every complaint he had about her body was a distraction from the complaints she had about his character, the neglect, the procrastination, the lack of real partnership. He realized his gift to her was an act of profound selfishness, and her gift back was a wake-up call wrapped in cold, undeniable facts. He finally closed the folder, his hand trembling slightly. What happened next wasn't a fairy tale reconciliation, but a painful beginning. Mark didn't apologize right away. He couldn't. He was too busy grappling with the depth of the mirror Sarah had held up to him. He was faced with the fact that he was the one who was truly out of shape, relationally and responsibly. Sarah, by delivering that reality check, didn't end their marriage, but she gave it a fighting chance. She drew a line in the sand, demanding a partnership based on mutual respect and shared effort, not superficial aesthetics. The fitness subscription went unused, but the ledger became their new shared document, a painful but honest guide for their weekly check-ins. It wasn't about getting thinner, it was about building a better foundation. And for the first time in a long time, Mark finally started putting in the work. Because Sarah taught him that sometimes, the best way to motivate change is to give someone the gift of undeniable truth.